match like student course data and student records and all that with this external data that is coming from from these third parties, from the organizations that the students are working with. So basically, like, they need a web system that allows like sort of three different users. So the first is like the advisors in the department, the second is the students, and then the third is these, third party organizations and stuff. So to make things even more complicated, UTA has MyMav, and we've got our own kind of login system for students and faculty to access. But third parties organizations don't necessarily have access to that. So there's a lot of like kind of unknowns that we have to, like, OIT is kind of like the gatekeepers to all of that. So this project is going to involve working with OIT a lot to like get access to the various systems that we need to, make this project work. So I'm going to be very honest, and I want to make sure that what I'm going to say right now doesn't kind of go outside the group, but OIT is pretty difficult to work with. It's not that it's not that they won't cooperate or whatever. It's just that they have so much like work to do, and they're backlogged usually like a lot, like, a couple of months. If you file a support ticket, they like won't even respond to it for like a month or two. And some of that has to do with COVID-19. Some of it has to do with funding. Some of it has to do with like, organizational structure or whatever. But the tricky thing about this project is that like there's a lot of things that we are going to be very dependent upon OIT to get access to. There are other aspects of the project that aren't dependent on OIT. So we're expecting this project to have like 3 teams on it eventually. So y'all are the first team, and then we'll start a team in the summer. So when y'all are finishing up in the summer, there'll be a team starting, and then we'll start a team in the fall. But y'all are the first group. So the main priority is really to figure out exactly what we need to do from a technology standpoint. Like, do we need to use Azure to do this, or do we need to use AWS or whatever? What kind of technologies do we need to do that will work with OIT's single sign-on? They say SSO all the time for that. So there's a guy named like Douglas Bergeri, who's kind of going to be our point of contact on this. Y'all will meet everybody here before too long. So he's the OIT guy that's going to like guide us through this. Now, like, when we talk to OIT, like on the phone, they use a lot of acronyms. They don't really they're not really going to walk you through anything. They're just going to kind of say like, oh, you got to go and do this. And then like our GitHub has examples of how to use it. Well, then you go to their GitHub account, and then it's like you don't have access. And then it's like, oh yeah, just go in and log in with your UIT thing, or with your UTA thing. Then you go to their GitHub and you log in with your UTA thing, and you still don't access. So then you ask them what's going on. Then they're like, oh, you have to access with like a research account and not a faculty account and not a student account. So like basically just be prepared to like every time they tell you, oh, this is easy, you just go and do this. When you go and do that thing, there's going to be like 10 other steps you have to do that they're not going to tell you about. So like, again, that stays between us, but I'm just preparing you, like, anytime when we have to rely on OIT to do something, like, prepare for it to take a lot of time. So I mean, saying that, we know that this is going to be a multiple team effort, longer than like the 2 semesters y'all are going to work on it. So really the priority right now is to figure out like, what can we do? Like, can we build our back end and make all the functionality work without login information? Like, can we point it to like, say, a dummy database of like student data, which is fake student data and like fake organizational data? And like, can we demo the features of this system to the social work department without necessarily having that real data? And then at the same time, we also need to like be investigating and working with OIT to get those accesses that we need. So it's going to be a lot of talking with them and kind of working things out. And, ultimately it's a cloud application. I'm thinking it's probably going to be an Azure based application. but Azure or AWS hypothetically would work. But like that's kind of where things are. So the next steps, I need to connect you with Dawnetta Smith. She's in the social work department, so she's going to be the main contact over there. So that's like essentially the main customer, and then Douglas is the main OIT person. And we had a meeting scheduled tomorrow, but he's not going to be there. So I don't know if I'm going to involve y'all or not, but I'll send an email to you and to all of you on the team and Dawnetta just to introduce everybody. I'm going to be as involved as I can, just kind of like keeping tabs on stuff, but really like the social work department is going to be kind of driving most of this. So,
what was the name of the customer that you said?
yeah, Dawnetta Smith.
Donetta Smith.
I'm
Okay.
going to email you all here. Let me go ahead and start that email right now, just to introduce everybody, so you're all on the same page and stuff.
Who makes the call on I guess what we use as far as like a platform? I know you said that it's probably going to be at Azure, but who makes the call on what we do for database architecture, anything like that?
So we will together. There's going to be a lot of like factors that govern that. So okay. OIT with their single sign-on stuff, to my knowledge, it can support Azure and it can support AWS. So it's probably going to have to be one of the two. I may be wrong, but I'm like 90% sure that it's realistically going to have to be one of those two. Now, when it comes to which one we do, AWS is like ridiculously difficult to deal with, both from like a billing and like a management point of view. Like there's just so like many options, and it's just extremely like difficult to like get support for all those things. Azure, I think, has a pretty good relationship with the university, and we use it for like a lot of stuff. So just in terms of like practicality, Azure is probably what we want to be looking at. We're also kind of like a Microsoft centric campus. Not that we use Microsoft products for everything, but for a lot of things we do, Teams and stuff like that. So I know that relationship is there. It's been there for a long time. It's a good relationship. There's a good level of support. I think that Azure actually provides access to like some cloud engineers or something if we need to like, if we need some tech support and stuff. So like, that's certainly where I'm leaning, but that's by no means not like a decision that's been made or anything. So, y'all will get input on that and stuff too. But with what I know today, if I had to make a decision today, I would say this is an Azure project. But that might change. We might get more information from OIT, that kind of change that a little bit. So just be aware. Social work department is not really going to care which one. They are not particularly tech savvy, so keep that in mind. Like social work, not tech savvy. OIT, tech savvy to a point where they're like kind of difficult about it sometimes. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to kind of work that stuff out. So. So I'm logging in my email right now to send this introduction. You guys are in Chris Conley's section, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Oh, okay. Well, I'm thinking about it. Can you guys rename this team in Teams? Because senior design project is not very meaningful to me when I'm managing like a dozen teams.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, just name it something, social work app, whatever. I don't care what you name it. Just something that's, because when I go in my dashboard and I've got like all these teams that are interacting with me and I don't know like who it is I'm talking to, so that'll be helpful. But thank you for adding me to the team. I appreciate that. So I'm going to send you a message here. I'm looking for this email from Donetta. So you're gonna like these people in social work. They're all very nice. You know, I've been pretty good about communicating with them, like, you know, hey, it's possible that like we run into something where we just like OIT won't give us what we need or something like that, and they understand that there's risks and all that stuff. So, you know, they chose to continue to do this with us instead of hiring like a third party company. So they understand, you know, they understand that it's going to be like a little bit of a learning curve here to figure out, you know, how to work with OIT to get access to the systems we need and all that kind of stuff. OIT seems willing to help us too. But my experience with them is that, like, you know, things don't move very fast. So we need to kind of plan. We need to prioritize the things we work on accordingly. You know, I mentioned like building a system where we can show off like the functionality with like fake data without the login stuff and without access to like real databases and things like that. You know, ideally, if we can do all that this semester and then get approval from social work that like, yes, this has all the features that we want. And then we set up the next team where they can just like, you know, write an adapter for OIT's databases or point things over to the correct database or whatever. You know, then that's kind of how I see this practically like working out the best way, I guess.
Okay.
I'm looking for, yeah, got it. Okay. So let me send this to Donetta here. Bear with me just a second while I type this email out here. I'm about to send it. Sorry, I'm just typing this out here. Okay, just sent that. So I sent the message to Donetta and Conley. All of you are CC'd on it. Which one of you is going to be like the main like point of contact for the project? Like, doesn't necessarily have to be a team lead, but whoever's going to be responsible for like, you know, communicating with me and OIT and you know, the social work people and all that. Have you selected that person yet?
No, we haven't.
Okay. Why don't y'all, when we get off this call, why don't y'all decide who that's going to be? It needs to be somebody who, now, so ideally, like when you're emailing and stuff like that, everybody's CCing, you know, everybody on the team. So it's not necessarily one person that all the communication has to flow through. It's not really a gatekeeper, but we do need one person who's responsible for replying to emails, scheduling meetings on behalf of the team and stuff like that. Just so we don't have like, there's 5 people on your team, 6 people, I guess. Every time when we need to get like one piece of information decided, we don't want like 6 students replying like, oh, I'm available this time, but not that time, blah, blah, blah. So there needs to be somebody like within your group that is the POC, the point of contact, to kind of, speak on behalf of the team. So anyway, work to figure out who is going to do that job. It should be somebody who can speak and write well and who can, be as flexible as possible with, attending these meetings and stuff like that. And then reply to that email I just sent to Dawnetta and just say, hey, I'm so-and-so. I'm going to be the POC for the computer science team. And this is my email address. Just something simple like that. And then something nice, like we're excited to work on this, whatever.
Okay.
So yeah, somebody figure out who's going to send that message and then send it. Please try to do that today when you get a chance. Doesn't have to be right this minute, but sometime today would be good. There is maybe a meeting tomorrow, so I will, if it happens, I'll invite you to it. If you can't make it, no worries, but it'd be great if one of you at least could try to be there if we still have the meeting, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I'm hoping that it's not. I'm actually going to try to get them to reschedule that when maybe a few of y'all can be there. When we do have a meeting with a sponsor or OIT or whatever, it's good to have as many of you there as possible, but let's not like bend over backwards trying to make everybody's schedules work. Like, it's more important that we proceed and like have a meeting or have a work session or whatever with 3 of you there than it is for us to delay things a week because we can't get all 6 of you, your schedules open at the same time. So really that point of contact, and then, possibly like your team leader, if it's not the same person, it'd be good if the 2 of you could try to, let's prioritize like those 2 members being present and not like all 6. Of course, all 6 of you are welcome anytime we're talking about anything. I mean, that's great, but we shouldn't hold up progress because like one person has, class when everybody else is available or whatever. So. So maybe you have any questions or anything for today? I know things are still pretty vague and it's going to be that way for a while, but, your priority will be to send that message to Dawnetta. Try to schedule a meeting with just her and the social work people first, just to go over like what the core requirements and stuff are. And then while you guys are preparing your project charter and stuff, and then kind of shifting into requirement specification mode, you're going to want to work really closely with them to, line up what all those requirements are. That is going to be like an important thing that we kind of work with on them. The other thing is they actually have a draft list of requirements. It's actually quite thorough. So y'all have an advantage there over your other teams in that like they've already got their requirements defined pretty clearly. So you should actually be able to like copy and paste a lot of those into your customer requirements section and your requirement specification. So, they actually did a pretty good job of thinking that out and, drafting that up in a document. So, reach out to them, schedule a meeting with them, get that document with the requirements, and then we'll just kind of take it from there.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, and to kind of clarify one thing. So, I mean, I said this, but let me just kind of be explicit about it. Your customer is social work. So that's Dawnetta Smith and her people. OIT is a organization that we have to deal with, but they are not driving requirements, at least not customer requirements. Now, they may say like, well, you can use this and not that because it's not compatible with our system or whatever. But essentially think of them as like an external vendor. Like we have to accommodate what they can handle and we have to, work with them, but they are not driving this project. Donetta is driving this project. Well, Donetta and the social work group are driving the requirements and all that. So the priority is always to, if they tell you they want something, like that's something we shouldn't really push back on. OIT, maybe we can kind of, fight a little bit on some things. I shouldn't say fight. I will handle that kind of stuff, but we can maybe push back on some things from OIT a little bit, and get them to kind of work with us or whatever. But social work is like they're who's driving everything. So definitely like make it a priority to make them as happy as possible, like at all times. So OIT, we just need to get along with them. That's all. Like, but we're trying to keep social work happy. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Of course, be nice to OIT too. I'm not trying to like diminish their importance or anything like that. That's not what I mean at all. They're good people too. It's just that they have a different role. So anyway, go ahead. You had a question? One of you had a question. I think a couple of you started to talk there at the same time.
No, I just said thank you.
Oh, gotcha.
Wait, so what we're doing is just emailing Donetta Smith right now, and then we can set up a meeting and ask them about the requirement documents, right? So they have the requirement documents?
Yes. I can't remember if they have it. Like, I think they shared a document with me a while back, but I think we just kind of went over it verbally. So just ask them, like, do you have a draft of, Dr. Romero mentioned you might have a draft of requirements ready. Can you send that to us and blah, blah, blah. And we can start from there.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Nothing from me.
All right, well, that's it. I'm gonna let you guys go. Y'all stay warm and stay safe and all that. And reach out to me anytime you have questions. You can call me on Teams whenever. Send me an email, Teams message, whatever. I'm generally fairly available most of the time. And if you call me and I can't pick it up, I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Okay, so first of all, we need to have a point of contact person, right?
Yeah.
Does it really want to be there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, I could do it.
Mohammed.
But if somebody else.
Melanie, you want to do it?
Yeah, I can.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he just CC'd us into an email, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll
just reply to that email.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's what he said.
Yeah, saying that you're the point of contact for the computer science department. Or not department, I mean like for the 4316 project that we're doing for the social work. And with
Yeah.
your email, right? That should be fine for now.
Yeah.
And
We should try and set up a meeting with Donetta Smith, right? For
Right.
the project documents.
Yes.
Yeah.
on the same email, Emily can decide, talk to them, like say them I'm a point of contact and I'm trying to reach out to you guys for the meeting for the requirement collection of the requirements. So on the when we have the meeting, we can ask them like, do you guys have a draft? Then it will be easier if you guys send us the draft, rather than directly asking them a draft for the requirement without having a meeting.
Yeah. Sounds good. So Melanie,
yeah,
you
I'll
can-
make sure
Yeah, you can send it
to
today.
introduce myself. Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
send
I'll do
today
it.
anytime. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll start on it right after we leave the meeting.
Always
Okay.
take.
And have you guys seen the project charter document that we have to that's due on the 4th?
Yes.
So there, yeah. Are we supposed to do all of those in the text folder? There's like assumptions, background constraints, like a lot of things. I don't know, like, projects. Like, these are all the things that the professor was talking about in our last meeting. I remember that. But are we supposed to, like, fill it all up, or what are we supposed to do in this one?
I guess we are supposed to fill it up, like discussing the project and everything.
Because it seems like a final draft.
So we can email professor and ask him about that. That won't be a big deal. The first thing will be like collecting of the requirement from them.
Yeah. That should be good. Melanie,
Like,
yeah, just do that, and that's fine for right now, I think. And when they reply back, we can just set up a meeting.
Mhm.
if we have the requirement, probably half of the things we can fill it already, because at least we have something to do.
Right. Yeah, I think if we can get the document from her, that way in the meeting we can ask questions, to get more details about those requirements.
Yep, got it. Okay. Is that all for now? I think. Yeah. See you guys later.
See you
Yeah.
later. And
Yeah.
I know we already have the Discord. We can. Did we ever figure out the scheduling app we wanted to use? I know we inputted our stuff into that website, but is that what we want to stick with?
Yeah, I guess something else would be better, because this one doesn't update, like,
Right.
Yeah.
unless you change it.
Okay, so I'll find another scheduling app. I'll put it in Discord, and that way we can just reference that. Once we get started, maybe we schedule like a weekly meeting just to do updates and everything like that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
When do y'all want to start working on the manifest, I think is what it's called?
You mean the project charter?
Yeah, the charter, not the manifest. But yeah, when do y'all want to start doing it?
Like if Melanie, after Melanie replies to the email and we get a reply back, if they have the project document, that would be great. But if they don't, then like we can
We'll have to ask her.
Yeah, we can set up a meeting and ask her like what you need for this project. Yeah.
Right. I just didn't know if any of you had midterms or anything in like the next week. I have some stuff this weekend, but I can make time around it. So that's why I was wondering.
I have on the third, but I'm okay. Like working on second and third after afternoon of the third, I'm free, and on the fourth, I'm totally free. So I'll be perfectly fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll try our best to manage time. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess then in that case, then I'll talk to you when we hear back from Melanie on how she has project document, all that stuff. So
yeah.
good luck, Melanie. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.